feel the rush, it's time to shine. Pushing metal, pure and fine, in this premium racing grind. Race to the finish line. Feel the rush, it's time to shine. Pushing metal, pure and fine, in this premium racing grind. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Grind. Uh-oh. Racing grind. Pit crew ready, tools in hand. Every second by a strand. Fuel and tires, quick change. Back to track and destined range. Pit crew ready, tools in hand. Every second by a strand. Fuel and tires, quick change. Back to track and destined range. Race to the finish line. Feel the rush, it's time to shine. Pushing metal, pure and fine, in this premium racing grind. Race to the finish line. Feel the rush, it's time to shine. Pushing metal, pure and fine, in this premium racing grind. Uh-oh. Grind. Uh-oh. Racing grind. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we
Race
get
to the
ready
finish
to rock and roll here this evening. The MNT Cup Series back in action here this evening, and these drivers are ready to rock and roll. They are ready to go to battle. They are ready to duke it out as we head to Talladega, baby. It is Talladega Super Speedway, the home of the MNT Cup Series here this evening, as these drivers are ready to rock and roll. They are ready for 70 laps of pure adrenaline pumping action out there on the speedway. We're going to be all lubed up and Vaselined up here, because it's going to be slipping and sliding all around the racetrack here this evening, as drivers are going to be battling, trying to work themselves to the front of the field, or trying to make sure that they're in a good position to possibly avoid the big one here this evening, as the big one is not about if it's going to happen, it's about when it's going to happen, when we head to these super speedways, and it makes for some very wild, interesting racing. We do see this 48 right out there of Mo Quinn. Mo Quinn has been rocking and rolling. He's been putting in a lot of work here at Talladega in these cup cars. He's picked up a couple official wins over the last week, so he's ready to rock and roll. He's ready to go to battle here in this one. Is my boy Eric. Eric coming in, showing the love with that heart reaction, coming into the chat, says best broadcast ever. I appreciate that, brother, coming in, showing the love here this evening. Johnny Nolan, Johnny coming in with that like on the stream, as well as, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, please make sure you guys do us the favor. It's absolutely free to do, helps the stream grow a ton. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. If we're gonna get ready rock and roll. Qualifying currently underway as Joshua King says, let's go Derek Cat, cheered on Mr. Cat over there on the YouTube stream. And Cat's a good choice, man. It's anybody's race, honestly. We're going to have almost 40 drivers load into the simulator, and any one of these 40 drivers, if they can survive, if they can have a car that's still, you know, able to roll out there on the speedway late in this race, they can put themselves into victory lane here. Now, the big question is going to be, you know, are we going to see that 2-wide, 3-wide racing right out of the get-go? Our driver's going to take it a little bit more easy, take it a little bit more cautiously over the first few laps, and then maybe race a little bit harder getting towards the end of the race. And if we see this go clean and green for quite a little while, what is it going to look like when we see all these drivers come down pit side for green flag pit stops? Normally we see these drivers come down pit road, different groups at a time, but it can really break the field up. Take it from that 2-wide, 3-wide racing down to, you know, single file for the most part out there on the speedway, or all these small little groups, you know, 5 cars there, 7 cars there, 10 cars there, and they're kind of all within, you know, the track together, but they're also separated out there on the speedway. That could play a huge role on this evening's race and how these drivers have to handle and tackle the racing here this evening. So could be early caution flags, could be late race caution flags. I know at certain times we may not see any at all here in the MNT Cup Series, but I feel Talladega is going to be one of those racetracks that we could see a couple early ones as drivers trying to get everything they can, try to earn that track position, especially if they did not qualify well here this evening. As these guys are going to get loaded into the sim, each and every single one of them looking for the win here this evening. As qualifying coming to a close, that means our racing action is about to get underway. We're about to go to battle. We're about to get ready to duke it out. As Mark coming in, showing the love over there on YouTube as well, says let's go Rainey. Cheered on Corey Rainey out there on the speedway. We'll have to wait and see what Corey can do here this evening. Is 70 laps the distance, man, and this is going to be a ton of fun. This is going to be very, very interesting on what these drivers can do, how they can maneuver, how they can get around the speedway, and who's going to be, you know, the better pusher, who's going to be the better shover, who's going to be that driver that can make some moves, find some grooves, and find their way to the front of the field and pick up the checkered flag here this evening. As we get ready to rock and roll, you get a good look right there. 70 laps up on the board. All these drivers loading into the sim, ready to go to battle here this evening. Is starting in that pole position in the 94 ride. That is Fred Anderson. To his outside in the 88 machine. That is the MNT Motorsports ride of Clay Cantrell. Starting in position number 3 in the 91 is the WBD diecast ride of Wesley Donaldson. To his outside in the Food City number 9, that is Bradley King. Starting in the 5th spot in the Vans number 54, that is Yusuf Ghali. To his outside in the 08 ride is the Interstate Ford machine of Braxton DeWeese. Starting in position number 7 in the 28, that is Johnny Brunk. To his outside in the 93, that is the Merkel Engine Setups number 93 ride, the Racing Engines ride of Maxwell Caldwell. That one's going to be 2 wells in a row. Maxwell Caldwell. Maxwell Caldwell. That one's going to be a tongue twister for us on the evening as Mike Peters and is going to start there in the 9th spot. To his outside, rounding out our top 10, is the number 7 ride. That is the ride of Justin Lewis. Let me see, there in 11th is Joshua Yarbrough. To his outside is Todd Merkel. Then we see Leroy Koblenz, Dale Miller, Ronald Lousy, Max Gamble, Benjamin Cusson there starting in the 17th spot. Derek Catt, Dave Mayberry, Michael Moquin, John Ross, Corey Rainey, Chase Greer, Brett Patterson, Daryl Rachter, Dwight Hibbs, Andrew Pilecki, Curtis Miller, Zach Roethlisberger, Brian Grubbs, Justin Bentley, Brian Huntley Jr., Josh Small, Cliff Adams, Chris Campbell, Jaden Porter, and Yusuf Ghali starting here at the rear of the field as the 54 ride of Ghali will get a EOL here, and he will start at the back of the pack. And unfortunately, Jaden Porter not out on the speedway. Will have to start from down in on pit road. As we got them stacked up, racked up, ready to go, we can already see that group a little farther back there in the field, looking like they're going to try to hang out a little single file, maybe try to stay clean and green and away from some of the action here throughout the evening. We'll have to wait and see if they try to work themselves towards the front of the field. As we'll get ready to set these drivers loose, the pace car will make that hard left-hand turn down pit road, and we'll get ready to set these drivers loose. 70 laps of NASCAR racing here this evening with the MNT Cup Series. As down and through the tri-oval and seeing that green flag fly for the first time here this evening, it's Fred Anderson, Clay Cantrell 1 and 2 on the speedway as we get up to speed here at Talladega Super Speedway. These drivers starting to build up that momentum, starting to build up that speed as they go down through the gears here through 1 and 2, and now down the back straightaway. They're getting ready to roll the full song and burn here at Talladega for the first time here in our A main feature event. Everybody for the most part staying too wide, but we do see that 44 of John Ross jumping out to the extreme high side, going 3 wide. We also see Bradley King jump up there as well. Now King maybe wanting to slide backwards here a little bit, maybe not wanting to be at the front of the field is, unfortunately slide back. Not a lot of push and help up there until he meets the 44 right of John Ross. Ross coming a big head of steam right here is down across the line. Fred Anderson will lead lap number 1 here this evening. So Anderson out in front. Wesley Donaldson all over his back bumper as Braxton DeWeese trying to push that 88 ride to the front of the field here, as Clay Cantrell would love to jump up, try to lead a lap. That middle lane is unfortunately starting to fall apart a little bit more here in this one. We do see the 17 ride up on the hindsight. That is Austin Call. Call sliding backwards here as well as he jumps up and out of line and into that third groove, and that is going to allow both lanes down low to just kind of steamroll right around him here. And just trying to get to the back of the pack. That is going to be a big play for a lot of these drivers throughout the evening. Sometimes being at the front of the field is the safest place to be on the speedway. Sometimes being at the back of the pack is not a bad place here either. All you got to make sure you do is make sure you keep yourself in that draft. You do not want to lose the draft here. If you lose that draft, you're out of this race until you see a caution flag, because you will not be able to jinx down this lead back. You will lose a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds out there on the speedway without the draft here this evening. And right now, Cliff Adams, he's the last car here on the racetrack. He's trying to hang on to that draft, trying to keep himself still here at the rear of the field, as this is going to be a safe place to play. A lot of time where something happens at the front of the field, you can get onto the binders, you can choose a lane, you can kind of work yourself through some of the carnage that may unfold in front of you. But at the front of the field, you can stay in front of it. You can be outside of any of these wrecks or any of the caution flags that may come out as well, as we always see the big ones here at Talladega. You take a look at this field, every single one of these drivers out there on the racetrack still within 2 seconds of each other there on the speedway. So being within that 2 seconds, all those drivers right on top of each other. One driver goes around, one driver makes a mistake out there on the speedway, and it can take out 10, 15, 20 cars in a heartbeat. So you got to be very, very careful. You got to mind your P's and Q's out there when you're bump drafting, especially through these corners. But you got to be a little bit vigilant out there. You got to make sure you have eyes kind of in the back of your head here, as you never know when this big one is going to happen. You could be riding around in that 15th spot, 20th spot, just minding your business, just trying to roll out there on the speedway, and all of a sudden 4, 5, 6 cars, 7 cars get piled up right in front of you, and you can be taken out of this race in the blink of an eye. As out in front, we do see the 08 ride of Braxton DeWeese was able to push the 88 of Clay Cantrell to the front of the field. Now Braxton jumps down low, gets a shove, gets very loose there, and that was close to being a big one here this evening. Somehow or another, Braxton was able to save that ride, keep that car pointed in the right direction, as he got a big bump from Fred Anderson, and that almost spun that 08 ride around at the front of the field, and that is not what you want to see. He's out to the outside. We now see Justin Lewis going to the front of the field here. The Merkle Racing Engines number 7 ride and that 2 ride of Todd Merkle here himself working together well out there on the speedway. They jump up and lead that lap. So Justin Lewis scored as our race leader as of right now. The 2 ride of Todd Merkle there on his back bumper is down low. Clay Cantrell and Braxton DeWeese again hooked up nose to tail down the back straightaway. We see these drivers switching lanes, moving around on the speedway, trying to find a groove here. As now you do see the 88 get shoved up and into the middle. So Blake Cantrell now shoved into that middle groove. The 88 ride looking for some dancing partners. You'll find the 95 of Mike Peters. So Peters will jump up there into that middle groove here. They're going to go a little 3 wide down through the tri-oval, and they're trying to go 3 wide all around the speedway here, as you do see the Merkle Racing Engine rides jump down to the inside grooves of the 7 ride of Justin Lewis. Still out in front, but we're starting to see that third line build up steam. You got 5 cars up there on that hindsight, currently being led by the 8 ride of Dale Miller. So Miller up on the hindsight, and here you go, more of that middle groove. They're going to jump up there as well. We'll see if anyone stays there or if they come down. No, the 16. He's going to stay right there. He wants to try to work himself to the front of the field. That 16 machine, the MNT ride, is Justin Bentley. Bentley working himself from the rear of the field quickly to the front of the pack. He's one of those drivers that I thought would maybe kind of sit back, relaxes. There's contact. Around goes John Ross. Here may be the big one on the front straightaway. Oh, brother. Look out, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of drivers getting collected here in this one. The Lockhart number 09 ride in there, the 77 ride of Yarborough in there, as well as Daryl Rachter getting collected here in this one. That name is going to drive me wild here this evening, as we got Proctor that used to be in here. He's not here tonight, but Christian Proctor. Now we got Rachter in here, so we're gonna have some crazy names here when they get all together. But we'll take a look back here and take a look and see what happened, as I do believe the 44 ride of John Ross was one of the first cars to go around here. See if we can find Mr. Ross on the speedway. So a little bit of 3 wide, then they go 4 wide. It's actually not John Ross. I do believe that is the Ford. It's another one of these Sim Motion rides. Who is that Sim Motion machine? Ronald Lousy there in the number 46 ride, not the 44 ride. They're right there together though, but you see just a little 4 wide right there. Unfortunately, it just does not work, as not sure who that was behind him here. The 27 ride of Patterson, kind of just squeezing his nose down low as they kind of get a little separated up on the high side. He tries to go down low with Miller, and you see that 4 wide right there. Contact kind of just hooks that 46 ride around and down the speedway. The 2, Todd Merkel, nowhere to go. He gets collected, and you see Braxton Deweese down through the grass. The 06 ride, nowhere to go as well. You see the 4 in there, heavy damage for him. The 48 of O'Quinn also collected. Joshua Yarborough, the 45 ride, also getting in there. That's Leroy Koblenz getting tied up in that one, and a lot of drivers down this front straightaway getting absolutely tore up here this evening. We'll take another look at it here and see from the little bit more of a spotter stand, a look at the contact and how this all plays out. All the drivers that unfortunately get collected here in this one. Oh man, good 5-10 cars all tore up here early on in this race, and that's what we were worried about. But you take a look a little farther back here, some of these drivers that were hanging out farther in the field, just trying to keep themselves out of trouble, keep themselves out of the action here, and trying to keep their cars clean out there on the speedway, as they were able to just kind of squeeze right on through this, keep themselves out of it, able to get onto the binders, able to slow down and, you know, come to almost a stop out there virtually on the speedway before getting collected in any of this action. And you take a look back here, I do believe we got Benjamin Cussin, one of these drivers, a little farther back, so he's quite a ways back here in the field. He's got lots of time. He sees him starting to wreck. He's off the gas, he's on the apron, he's rolling out of speed here. He's able to just kind of get through here. He's able to work himself through. There's still drivers crashing around him, wrecking around him, so he could have gotten into it, but being a little farther back, paying off here for Cousin, as Cousin right there in, I do believe now, the 22nd position on the speedway. But you do see a lot of these drivers going down pit side, trying to get repairs. We see that 2 ride of Todd Merkel still down pit side. Joshua Yarborough down there. Leroy Koblenz getting repairs. Ronald Lousy getting repaired. So a pair of the Sim Motion rides with a lot of damage here. Corey Rainey getting collected in that as well. I do believe Rainey is actually off the speedway here, so I'm not sure what happened to Corey Rainey. You'll see Brian Gibbs off the racetrack as well in the 06. So a few drivers early in this race taking an early exit after some pretty hard contact out there on the speedway in our first big wreck of the evening. Joycelyn Flower coming in, showing the love, says, "Holy racing, it's my favorite broadcaster." Joycelyn, how are you, my girl, coming in, showing the love here in this one. Doug Middendorf says, Deweese, cheering on Braxton Deweese out there on the speedway. Now, Deweese did go through the grass right there. I don't think he ended up with too much damage or anything. Let's take a look here and see if Deweese, if he really ended up with heavy contact or not. He does get door slammed right there for for the most part, we'll keep that car pointing the right direction. Doesn't look like too much damage there for that 08 ride, but we did see a lot of damage. The 06, nowhere to go here. Brian Gibbs. Gibbs just trying to keep on pushing. He's actually going to get a great look at this one as you'll see some of the initial contact here as they head down the front straightaway. You're going to see this 46 and 44 to the outside. The 46 going to come down just ever so slightly over the nose of the 27, and then into it, everyone kind of spins around, and he is just got nowhere to go right there and end up against the fence, spun around, hits another driver or two, and hanging on for that ride there. And unfortunately for Grubbs, he has a ton of damage on that 06 ride, and he's actually off the speedway now, so a tough break there for Grubbs. As Grubbs is off the track, we do see Dwight Hibbs still down pit road getting repairs done to the 52 ride. Corey Rainey also off the speedway in the 4 ride. Daryl Rachter, I do believe, is also off of the racetrack. Looks like he's taking his car down in behind pit wall as well. So right there, lost about 3 drivers out of this race, and now taking their rides back behind pit wall. Now they can rejoin, but they're going to be multiple laps down. Chris DeWeese, what's good, Chris? Chris says, good evening, race fans. Let's go 08 Interstate Ford Mustang. Braxton DeWeese cheered on Mr. DeWeese here this evening. Looked good early, pushing a couple drivers, pushed this 88 ride to the front of the field. Unfortunately, got a little contact, went down through the grass, has gotten some repairs, though, to that 08 ride. He will be restarting from the rear of the field as we do go back to green flag racing. But I think the yellow flag going to come right back out, so it looks like they're going to hold on for another lap here. Not sure why it was extended, but we are going to extend this, as I do believe Dave Mayberry in the 27 ride, so he's the one that initially made the contact here. Mayberry in the 46 together, and oh man, I don't know what's going on here. The 46, he comes down into Justin Lewis. Heavy damage there. This is just getting ready to go back to green flag racing, so I'm not sure what Ronald was doing here in the 46 machine. But unfortunately, 2 of these drivers that got together that brought out that caution flag, that brought out that big one. See the contact right here. 46 just gets in there, gets into his back end as everyone kind of way slower pace than that 46 ride, and brings him up into the 39, pushes him up into the fence here. Down comes the racetrack over the 7 ride, so a little contact, a little bit damage right there for 27 of Mayberry and everything else. Let's see if we can take another look at it here. I'm not sure what was going on here with Ronald Lousy, as Lousy just kind of rolling here and just not slowing down. I'm not sure if he was just rolling at a certain pace or did speed up, so I'm not sure. There he goes, slows down again, so okay, well, interesting one right there. Nonetheless, we'll get him ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. As Chris DeWeese says, BDR fans are in the house. Let's go, Chris. We love it. We love it. The Braxton DeWeese racing fans are in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in. If you haven't already, please make sure you guys do us a favor, smash that like button on the broadcast, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in just a few more moments. We do see Wesley Donaldson choosing to come down pit side here from close to the front of the field. So the WBT diecast ride heads left and goes down pit road here. Everyone else still staying out there, but we do see a few more drivers joining him here. Obviously the Merkle Racing Engines JL Racing ride of Justin Lewis trying to get repaired after the contact there down the tri-oval before we went back to green flag racing. You see some more of these drivers getting more repairs as well. Braxton DeWeese, Maxwell Codwell going to use that to his advantage here. Austin Call as well. John Ross down pit road. Braxton DeWeese getting those repairs. Andrew Palashi, he's going to get some extra fuel into his tank. Is Justin Lewis trying to get this car fixed up. So isn't Todd Merkel. So isn't that 77 rider Joshua Yarborough. You do see the 45 ride, Leroy Copeland's down pit side as well. All these drivers trying to get some repairs done to their rides here before we go back to green flag racing, as That may be the last caution flag on the evening. We may see a lot more to come, but we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. As out in front leading the way, it's a pair of MNT Motorsports rides here this evening. The MNT ride of Clay Cantrell out in front. To his outside, that's his teammate Justin Bentley. Down on the inside of row number 2 is the 6 machine, the Excite Batteries ride. The beautiful throwback paint scheme here for the 6 machine of Brad Keselowski. That is actually the 6 ride of Zach Roethlisberger out there on the speedway, and not Brad K here this evening. As he is outside in the Raising Canes and number 95, that is Mike Peters. And we see our pole sitter Fred Anderson back here in the 5th spot. Johnny Brugg there in position at number 6. Then we see Max Gamble, Dale Miller, Derek Catt, Bradley King rounding out our top 10 here on the speedways. The pace car once again going to make that hard left-hand turn down pit road, and we will get ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening. So the green flag about to come right back at you here in this one. Clay Cantrell, Justin Bentley, 1 and 2 down through the Geico restart zone, and a great jump there for the 88 of Clay Cantrell. Cantrell getting shoved early on as him and Roethlisberger will slide up to that outside groove here. They will try to join up with the teammate there. That is the 16 of Justin Bentley. As down low, we do see Johnny Brugg trying to push that 94 ride of Fred Anderson back to the front of the field, as Anderson trying to keep that 1 ink machine at the front of the pack here this evening. And Johnny Brugg trying to get that Michigan University ride also out in front here, trying to lead a lap, trying to earn some extra points here on the evening, as Peters there to his outside. Dale Miller, Max Gamble door to door here for that 7th and 8th spot, as then we see the 9 of Bradley King in the 21 ride of Derek Catt right there as well. Catt looking good out there on the speedways. Here comes Yusuf Ghali, last week's winner. Ghali up on the high side, the 54. He's looking for a big run. He's looking to try to work this Vans machine to the front of the field. And sorry, he won 2 weeks ago. Last week we were off. Unfortunately, due to the Hurricane Helena, we ended up taking last Friday off. A lot of drivers running into internet issues and power issues and everything else. So we took the night off, man, and it was fitting. A lot of people, a lot of places got absolutely destroyed, had absolutely nothing they could do about it. So we decided to take that week off and allow these drivers an extra week to just make sure that we can try to get everybody in here and get everyone back into power, back into internet, and be able to join the field here this evening. So it's good to see everybody in here. We are still missing a few drivers, but unfortunately they're off on vacation or just couldn't make it here tonight. I think for the most part, you know, all of our southern friends are in here as well. But to anyone affected by those hurricanes, anyone that got, you know, loss of life, or family members injured or anything else, man, our hearts and our prayers go to everybody affected there by the hurricane down through the U.S. over last week, man. It's absolutely devastating to see the damage and destruction that hurricane was able to do there in so many states, so many beautiful towns, and everything else, man, just got absolutely decimated, and our hearts and prayers are with everybody affected. As out in front, Clay Cantrell continuing to lead the way. Clay here at the front of the field, and Zach Roethlisberger right there on his back bumper. Justin Bentley there in third as they're working together here at the front of the field. And Johnny Brugg, he sees that. He jumps up to the outside lane. He saw that 54 ride of Yusuf Ghali coming in a quick hurry here, as Ghali 2 weeks ago found himself away into victory lane. He's trying to find that luck here today and trying to pick up another checkered flag here in the MNT Cup Series. Is right there behind him, John Ross, always so fast out there on the speedway. Unfortunately for John Ross, he's had some pretty tough luck throughout the beginning races of this season, man. He's gotten tore up a couple of times, had some really good runs. Unfortunately, just ran out of room, ran out of places to go on the speedway, and he unfortunately ended up with a lot of bad finishes where he kind of very capable car of even winning races out there on the speedway. As we're starting to see that 3 wide get built up once again out here on the racetrack. See the rest of the field outside of our top, what we got here, about top 15 out there on the speedway, top 16, kind of all rolling right there as the 9 rider Bradley King in that 15th position. We kind of get a little bit more single file farther back here. Braxton Luis there as well in that battle at the front of the field. Brad Patterson trying to jump up and join it, so isn't the 55 ride of Benjamin Cousin as Cousin there in position at number 17. Michael McQuinn in the Ally 48 Chevrolet, the Alex Bowman paint scheme here this evening. He's rolling in that 18th spot on the speedway, and you can see playing a little bit more safer here. He's kind of rolling a little farther back, keeping that distance between himself and that lead back, especially as things are getting a little bit more racy, a little bit more dicey up here at the front of the field. The rest of these drivers are catching up to that lead back. We'll have to wait and see if they join in on the action, if they join in on this fight at the front of the field, or if they can kind of just keep their distance and roll a little farther deeper in the field, as we do see a lot of these other drivers farther back here as well. You see Chase Greer trying to jump up there. Braxton Luis lines back to 19th. Maxwell Codwell there in the number 93 ride, rolling in that 20th position. Justin Lewis in the JL Racing ride there in 21st. And Austin Call there in 22nd. They're going to be that tail end of this main pack. And then that gap back to the 82 of Andrew Paleschi. Paleschi there in 23rd is the 97 of Brian Huntley Jr. there in 24th. Josh Small right there as well with Chris Campbell and Cliff Adams rolling out our top 27. Then we see single file here for Leroy Koblenz, Todd Merkel. Both these drivers, no drafting help out there on the speedway, and they're rolling about 3 seconds slower than our race leaders. Joshua Yarborough and the number 52 ride trying to work together, but unfortunately they are still a couple seconds slower than our race leaders as well. So you can get paired up with another driver. Unfortunately, you can just not hold that pace that lead pack, that lead draft has. And unfortunately, if we stay clean and green for a little while, these drivers are at risk of going a lap down or multiple laps down here on the evening. Ronald Lousy, one of those drivers there as the 46 ride deeper in the field here, kind of all by himself. We do see Dwight Hibbs, that's the 52 ride, working with the 77 as Dave Mayberry, Daryl Rachter, Corey Rainey, Brian Grubbs all off the speedway here. So 4 drivers out of that first initial wreck have left the racing surface here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if they rejoin the server, see if they rejoin the fun here this evening. As out in front, the MNT Cup Series and the MNT Motorsports rides at the front of the field, putting on a bit of a show. Clay Cantrell out in front leading the way. He's got Zach Roethlisberger and his teammate Justin Bentley right there behind him. Then we see John Ross, the Sim Motion 44, now working himself up inside the top 5 as he rolls to the inside of the 54 of Yusuf Ghali. Ghali up there, a 4th car in line on the outside, as that's where the 2x2 starts there, as the top 3 drivers, almost top 4 drivers, single file out here on the speedway at the front of the field, but it's a dogfight back here behind them. Drivers shuffling around, a little 3 wide racing still here at the front of the field, and you see that other little bit of a group now joining this fight here at the front as well. So Josh Small into this battle, Andrew Palashi, the 68 of Campbell, Cliff Adams, all right in there, as well as our top 27. You can throw a blanket over them here this evening. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, these guys are putting on one heck of a race for us. And here comes Derek Cat, the Cat Man, down low, looking to put himself to the front of the field. Unfortunately, a couple car lengths back of leading. That lap is 3 wide, now starting to build more and more in the racing action that we love to see here at Talladega. Is really starting to come to full song and bird here this evening. You do see the 94 ride thinking better of it, seeing that 3 wide racing, and our pole sitter is going to make the hard left-hand turn down to the apron and slide all the way back to that 27th spot, hoping to catch this little bit of a tail end draft here, hoping to reel in that back of the pack to make sure he does not lose the draft here this evening. But the 94 ride, maybe playing a little bit smarter, a little bit safer, falling back here, taking himself out of that position, and potentially going to be in a spot to avoid a big wreck if we see one. As the 3 wide decimates a little bit there down the front straightaway. We'll see if things pick back up a little bit more down through the corners and down the backstretch. We do see some more drivers start to work their way towards the front of the field. One of those drivers being that 48 Ally ride not too long ago. We saw him just outside the top 20. In a couple of laps, he's already worked himself now into that 6th position. So Michael McQuinn trying to work himself to the front of the field. Braxton DeWeese right there with him on his back bumper. Then we see Chase Greer, one of these beautiful looking 40 rides, the orange and black machine out there on the speedway as he rolls there in that 10th spot. Got Dale Miller, Derek Cat right there behind him. That number 70 ride of Curtis Miller right there as well in the 13th position. The WBD diecast ride, the 91 of Wesley Donaldson, back here in the 14th spot. He's right in the middle. He's right in the eye of the storm here in this one, as it's the calm before the storm here in this one, ladies and gentlemen, as the racing action is only going to get picked up more and more and more. These drivers, the intensity, everything is going to build up here as these laps continue to get clicked down. We get closer and closer to our checkered flag. The racing action's only going to get that much tougher, that much more physical, that much more content potentially out there on the speedway. As we already click off 24 laps, this time down and across the start finish line, we will see 25 laps up and onto the board here. So 25 laps into this race, meaning that we got 45 laps of racing action left here this evening as we roll closer and closer and closer to that halfway marker. That's where things get very interesting. When do we start to see these drivers have to start to move around, make their way to the front of the field, not hang back anymore? At some point in time, everyone's got to have that green light. You got to put the hammer down. You got to get yourself to the front of the field without running out of time. If you wait till the last couple laps, you may not have enough room. You may not have anywhere to go, and you may be kind of stuck there at the rear of the field. So you got to kind of time your runs perfectly here and make sure that you're within striking distance of our top couple drivers here on those final laps. So make sure you can try to make some moves and try to put yourself up into the winner's circle. And we've seen it before. Front of the field, last lap, last couple laps, we've seen the top 15, top 20 all take each other out of the race. Something happens at the front between the leaders as our race leader may take a big run, maybe throw a big block on somebody back there behind him and get turned around, and then all of a sudden it's basically just survival of the fittest. Who can get through it? Who can survive the carnage here at Talladega Super Speedway? We're going to find out here as, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume. Cheer on your favorite driver as we're going to crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Give you guys a little bit of the sights and sounds around Talladega Super Speedway. One of the most beautiful sounds you'll hear in racing as these drivers steamrolling around the speedway, all right tight together on the racetrack, and it is going to be a thing of beauty. So make sure you cheer on your favorite driver and crank up that volume as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. drivers going around in the yellow flag back out here on the speedway. As a few drivers come together, and our second caution flag of the day is going to be displayed. So the yellow flag coming out here in our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up there. The Crank It Up caution flag always works here, as it looks like a little bit farther back as this field kind of got broken up again. Top 10, 11 drivers kind of all right there together, single file up at the front of the field. And then a little farther back, man, things are getting racy, and I do believe, not sure who that is spinning around already. That is the 93 ride. Let's see if we can play this one back just ever so slightly, as the Merkle Racing Engines 93 ride gonna get a little bit loose here and gets turned around and up into a couple of these drivers. So Maxwell Codwell, watch the car on the outside lane here, the three-wide battle right here. He's gonna, unfortunately, sure what happens to him here. I'm not sure if he gets checked up here as he sees a little bit of drivers moving around, but looks like him in the 70 ride gonna make contact. Curtis Miller in there. They come down the racetrack, nowhere to go for Mo Quinn as the Ally 48 ride down low gets pretty good damage. The 88 getting collected in that one as well. Some good contact there for the 88 machine, but then you watch that 17 Austin Call just barely avoiding more contact. The 6, the 16, the 7 ride all right there as well. It could have been a whole lot worse for a lot of these drivers, as they were right there, almost taken out of this race as well, as they were right there. Oh man, that could have been a lot worse, as there was a good group of cars, a lot of fast cats that we did just see at the front of the field, and they all kind of just narrowly avoided some of this. You watch this number 16 ride here, and Zach Roethlisberger, all these drivers just somehow making it through there with none to little contact out there on the speedway. So good heads up driving out there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can play this one back again, see if we can take a look and see where this contact was made again between Curtis Miller and the 93 machine. Let's see if we can find Mr. Miller here on the speedway. There we go. Let's take a look here and see this initial contact as him and the 93 come together here. Now, I'm not sure if the 93 comes down or if the 70 ride kind of comes up, but they run out of room here into corner number 1, and it looks like the 93 kind of coming down, unfortunately comes down over the nose of that 70 ride, and that's how this one kind of gets all started. Look at that, Yusuf Ghali right there, almost getting taken out of this one. The 95 almost in there as well, but damage for the 88 of Cantrell, the 93 of Codwell, and the 70 of Curtis Miller. Pretty good damage there as well. The 48 of Mo Quinn getting some contact. Austin Call getting some damage there as well. And the Aflac number 17 ride. So a few drivers with some incidents right there, but that will mix things up as all these drivers have came down pit side, gotten another pit stop in. Now we'll have to wait and see who is going to be at the front of the field here for our second restart of the afternoon. So our second restart of the day is about to get underway as these drivers are ready to duke it out. They are ready to go to battle here in this one, as it's the 97 quad lock ride of Brian Huntley Jr. now at the front of the field. Josh Small in the Worth, number 39 there in position number 2. The number 68 ride, the Pat Track number 68 machine of Chris Campbell rolling there in 3rd, Braxton DeWeese in 4th. The 55 ride, the Grimace machine there in that 5th position for the 55 ride. And then we see Max Gamble, John Ross, Bradley King, Wesley Donaldson, and Chase Greer rounding out our top 10 here in this one, and they will get ready to be re-fired off here in just a few more moments. These drivers will get ready to duke it out and go to battle here this evening. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very interesting to see who is going to be able to put themselves up and in the victory lane here this evening. We'll be right back, though, as we'll get ready to set them loose. We got a minute or so here before we go back green flag racing. The lights are off the official iRacing pace car, so we should go this time by. As we'll get a quick little listen in here to our song here, Race to the Finish Line for the MNT Cup Series.
Oh, 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 oh. Race to the finish line. Feel the rush, it's time to shine. Pushing metal, pure and fine. In this premium racing grind. Race to the finish line. Feel the rush, it's time.
Alrighty, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here at the beautiful Talladega Super Speedway, the MNT Cup Series ready to duke it out once again. Here, down through the Geico Restart Zone, we are going to fire off as the 97 will lead us to the green flag here once again at Talladega Super Speedway. Brian Huntley Jr. out in front of the field. The 68 of Chris Campbell trying to get locked up to his back bumper to push him out in front, but the outside already hooked up in lookout is Josh Small in the 08 of Braxton DeWeese looking to go to the front of the field. They are going to make some pushes, and oh, down the racetrack goes that 39 ride of Josh Small down into the inside fence. I'm not sure if he had any contact there with that inside wall or not, but he's able to keep that car pointed in the right direction. No caution flag here on the speedway. He's looking to hopefully rejoin the field here down the front straightaway, hoping to not lose this draft as everybody kind of strung out a little bit deeper in the field off that restart. And luckily enough, he may be able to find a little bit of help here, maybe a little bit of pushing and a little bit of teamwork out there as the 7 ride will jump down in front of him. Is out in front. Max Gamble will go to the front of the field as that was a very, very close one. It's, oh, Gamble down the racetrack now. Gamble loses it out at corner number 2, goes down onto the 8th, luckily enough. He's able to keep himself out of the fence, able to keep that car rolling here. He's going to slide up the racetrack, but look at the loss of momentum. Everyone's just going to try to go right around him here. He's hoping to find some draft, hoping to kind of build that speed back up here and rejoin one of these lines out here on the speedway. He's hoping for this pack right here, this 4-car battle, to kind of pick him up and try to work himself back towards the front of the field. As out in front, it is Brian Huntley Jr. who leads the way, but don't look now because here comes that MNT number 88 of Clay Cantrell. The MNT Cup Series ride going to quickly work himself back to the front of the field. He's getting shoved by Johnny Brugg and the 94. That's our pole sitter, Fred Anderson. Now back up inside the top 5. He will work to the outside lane here as well as they will clear that bottom lane in a quick Korean move. Fred Anderson back up into position number 3. Mike Peters right there with him, same with that 48 right out. Michael Moquin, his 5 cars working that outside groove. You do see the 91 of Wesley Donaldson. He's going to go from the bottom group up to the high side here, trying to slot in right in front of Dale Miller. Miller, luckily enough, able to get onto the binders there, allow him to get in there without a big wreck happening. But Miller all over the back bumper there of that 91 ride, almost got into him there in the wrong spot, the wrong time, down across the start-finish line as things a little bit more easy out here on the speedway. For the most part, single file here at the front of the field, a little bit of 2 wide back here for about this 9th position. And right now, Brian Huntley Jr. leading that inside lane. They're back here in that 9th, 10th spot as now you do see Braxton DeWeese. He's going to jump down low here. He's going to have to try to pick this line up, build a few more cars in here, build some more momentum up, and see if this 97 machine of Brian Huntley Jr. can try to push him to the front of the field as that outside group right now getting some great pushes, some great runs. The 88 and the 28 absolutely locked together out there on the speedway. Mr. Brugg just pushing that 88 ride in. Clay Cantrell doing a great job. Keep that car pointed in the right direction. These 2 drivers very skilled, very good so far here at the Super Speedways. And we talked about this 48 ride on Michael Moquin earlier as well. The Ally number 48 machine out here on the speedway. Michael Moquin. I saw earlier that he's picked up quite a few official wins here this week in iRacing at Talladega Super Speedway in the official races. So he's a driver that's been getting a lot of practice in, a lot of laps in. He's been really getting that craftiness of the Super Speedways kind of worked in here and ingrained into his thoughts out there on the speedway. And he's obviously been able to do it a couple times this week. We'll have to wait and see if he can get it done here in this one. As now you see that 3rd line trying to get built back up here again. It's like, bunch of these drivers go down through that middle groove. A bunch of drivers trying to work that outside lane. We may see 3 wide here once again throughout this main pack. As bringing up the rear of this main pack, we do see the number 21 of Derek Catt and the 82 of Andrew Palashi back here. So our top 19 all part of this lead group here on the Speedway. They got about 3 seconds back. You see Austin Call in the Aflac number 17 right back here in the 20th position, as Leroy Koblenz right there with him. The 6th ride of Zach Roethlisberger, Justin Bentley, and that number 51 of Max Gamble, all right there together. A little 5-car pack here about midway through the field. And then a little farther back, we see Justin Lewis, the 39 ride of Josh Small, the 2 of Todd Merkel, the 77 of Joshua Yarborough, the 52 ride in there, as well as Dwight Hibbs. Dwight, unfortunately, still a lap down out there on the Speedway. Then you see Curtis Miller a little farther back here. Unfortunately, no drafting help here for that 70 ride out there on the Speedway. No drafting help as well for the Sim Motion number 46 of Ronald Luzzi, as Luzzi back here in that 30th position on the Speedway. Still a lap down as well. Max Caldwell down pit side here in the 93 ride has not came back out onto the racetrack, so a tough break for the Merkel Racing Engines number 93. Getting some repairs done to it. That right front pretty busted up after that contact down in corner number 1 and into that outside fence, and unfortunately has not rejoined the field, as he is currently scored in that 32nd spot. Is out in front, the 95. Mike Peters leads the way here in this one. So Peters at the front of the field, Braxton DeWeese there in second. And we see Brian Huntley Jr., Chris Campbell right there as well. The 55 of Benjamin Cusson there in position number... Sorry, my phone's going or something here. I don't know what in the world is happening. But so far right now, some great racing action, man. These guys have been putting on a hell of a show for us. It's been a lot of fun watching these drivers duke it out, battle it out, all out there on the Speedway. They haven't given up anything out there on the racetrack. They've been non-stop, elbows up racing, a lot of door-to-door, and obviously 2-wide, 3-wide battles out there on the Speedway. And we are nowhere close to being done yet, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Y'all came here for a show. You're going to get it at some point in time here throughout this feature event. We're going to see these guys, I promise you, back to 2-wide, 3-wide racing, each and every one of them trying to get to that finish line first. We may see it being a 3-wide photo finish down across the line. We've seen some absolutely insane, wild finishes here at Talladega Super Speedway, and I can't see tonight being any different than that. As if you're that driver currently sitting in that second spot, or even the cars that are back there behind you in 3rd, 4th, 5th, out there on the Speedway, when the laps get clicked down and you get into that final couple laps here on the evening, you want to start making these moves. You want to try to put yourself up and into victory lane as we get closer and closer here. That 50-lap marker is right now 26 laps of racing action left to go here this evening. 26 laps to see these drivers duke it out, battle it out, and go all out here in this race. So the laps are clicking down. The intensity starting to build up more and more and more. If we do see another caution flag, that's only going to make things that much more interesting. These drivers are only going to push that much harder, that much tougher out there on the speedways. You see that 97 all over the back bumper of the 08 of Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese able to handle that push there, able to keep that car pointing the right direction as the 97 trying to push him up to our race leader's back bumper here. And man, that is tough to do. A lot of times, you know, we get a little squirrely, just like we saw the 97 ride. You get a little bit of a shove somewhere. You kind of get lined up with the car in front of you. It kind of jolts you around, and you can really see these cars when they make that contact, when they start the bump draft. You know, these things can get bent out of shape in a quick curry. See these drivers trying to hang onto the wheels, make sure they keep their car pointed in the right direction, especially when we were getting shoved just like that there with the 08 ride, as he was able to handle that push right through and out of corner number 4. That's a spot where normally you see a driver get that contact. The rear end gets loose. They wash down the racetrack, as you do see Braxton DeWeese trying to find an opening here, trying to find a way to get around this 95 of Mike Peters. Peters doing a great job, though, hanging on to that inside lane, not giving the 08 ride anything, knowing that he cannot pass below that yellow line, knowing that he has to make sure he stays down low or stays in front of this 08 ride to really give himself a good chance. As if he gets shuffled out of this lineup, if somebody doesn't go with him, he's going to slide quite a ways back here. As it's single file for our top 20 cars out there on the racetrack, all the way back to 19th year's Bradley King. Pulling there in that 19th position. He's the last car in this lead pack. 7 seconds back now. You see that other 5-car pack there that were all kind of together. They've got to rejoin each other here. So we've seen this pack kind of fall back a little bit farther to pick back up this other 4 or 5-car pack. So we do see a second group starting to form out here on the speedway. They're all trying to work together. They're all trying to pick each other up here because they know if they do not work together, they're just going to continue to slide farther and farther back, and they're going to not be anywhere within striking distance. You already see they're at a corner number 2. The gap between our first and second group out there on the speedway. This group now starting to form up, has about 10, 11 cars in it, maybe 12 cars in this group, but they are still running probably about a second slower than our race leaders out there on the speedway. So unfortunately, not as much speed as what they get at the front of the field still. So they're still going to be sliding backwards, but they're trying to stay within, maybe striking distance, or make sure that they kind of stay together and work together in case if this pack slows down, or in case if, green flag pit stops start to happen, or anything else where they can make some moves and try to catch back up here. If they start racing more 3 wide, 4 wide out here on the racetrack, that could really bring that other group back up to them. As this is going to slow this lead back up. The more they start jostling around, changing lines and everything else, it's making this main pack go a little slower and a little slower. Oh, baby, look out! Contact down low! Oh, man, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Caution flag not yet on the speedway. There it is. Caution flag on the track. Wesley Donaldson around the 24 ride. Also turned around right there. That is Brett Patterson turned around on the speedway, as we will take a look back and see what happened here. As we saw it out of corner number 4. Just a little bit of pushing and shoving. It kind of starts here with that 08 ride of Braxton DeWeese. So as we take a look here, DeWeese right there is going to get a little bit of contact between him and the 04 rider, Cliff Adams. Adams gets into him, then he kind of slides up. He gets jostled around, still getting shoved, though, by the 88. As he's getting bent around, he kind of goes up over the nose of the 88, comes back down over the nose, and that just shoots him right down the speedway into that 24 ride. And unfortunately here, the 24, Patterson, unfortunate break here for the 91 ride. Just nowhere to go. Just mind your P's and Q's. Rolling down here on the bottom of the speedway. Really not within any kind of danger. Well, they are. And unfortunately, pretty good contact here for that 24. Pretty good contact for the 91 ride as well. As you watch that 24 down, shoved a couple hits onto the apron. The car gets sideways. He's trying to correct it, trying to get this car pointed back in the right direction. Unfortunately, it's just so loose and slick down there. He slides back up the racetrack and basically sandwiches the 91 ride with the 40 machine. And fortunately for this 90 machine, he's going to go sliding down and into the inside fence. A tough break for the WBD Diecast 91 rider, Wesley Donaldson. As you'll see this, a little bit of contact right there, not too much damage. So luckily enough, able to keep this car for the most part in one good piece until right there when him and the 24 make more contact again down there on the bottom side of corner number 4. So, driver's going to come down pit road. We'll have to wait and see who can come off of pit lane first here on the evening. Is everyone going to hit their marks on their pit stop? You do see the 94 overshoot his boxes. The 95 of Mike Peters will lead us in to the pits, and he will lead us out of the pits here as well. This driver is down pit side, making sure they get tires, making sure they get fuel, making sure they got enough to get to the end of this race. As I do believe they should be able to make it. By the time we go back to green flag racing, they should be, able to make it on fuel. They shouldn't have to make another pit stop unless if we start to roll into a little bit of that, green-white checker. It's a little bit of NASCAR overtime. We could end up here in some very interesting overtime racing here, and some fuel issues could come out of nowhere. And you run out of fuel out here on the speedway, especially if you run out down through the tri-oval and you got to try to make it 2.5 miles all the way back to pit lane and down pit lane. Good luck to you. It is going to be a long coast, and I don't know if you'll even be able to have enough momentum to get all the way back to the pit stall. So you may have to stop and tow your ride back to the pit lane, and if you have to do that late in the race, especially in NASCAR overtimes or anything else, your night's going to be done. So that is going to be a huge no-no. These drivers are hoping they can make it clean and green to the end, or if we do see another couple caution flags, that maybe they can save enough fuel to make sure that they can make it here to the finish this evening. Is out in front. That is the 46 Ryan. He is the first driver a lap down out there on the racetrack, and he will go down pit side. That is Ronald Luzzi. As Luzzi there in that number 46 machine will head down pit road. Wesley Donaldson has taken his ride off the speedway here, so I'm not sure why Donaldson's off the track. That car didn't seem like it had too much damage, but 91 WBD machine off of the speedway here. Going to move Dwight Hibbs potentially back up inside the top 30, as also Max Caldwell back out there onto the racetrack. So good to see Cladwell out there onto the speedway here. The Merkle Racing Engines ride. Unfortunately, he is quite a few laps down there in that 93 machine. Brett Patterson back down pit side. Ronald Luzzi down there coming back on out as Curtis Miller, Yusuf Ghali all down pit road as well. So maybe some different strategy here for a few of these drivers, maybe trying to that extra little bit of fuel in before we go back to green flag racing. As the lights are off, the official iRacing pace car will get ready to go back to battle here in this one. As the laps are clicking down in a quick hurry here this evening. Only 19 laps left to go, 18 more when we go back to green flag racing. As Ty says, I don't know anyone, so I'm cheering on Peacemaker. You don't know anyone? What are you talking about? I mean, I appreciate Ty cheering on me. That's always nice to have my fans cheer me on up there in the comment section. TJ Martin with the heart reaction, Caleb Ramsey, Chris Muse, Frank Ranger all coming in showing the love as well with those reactions here on the broadcast. But Ty, brother, you know drivers out here. There's drivers in the field that you do know. You know John Ross. You know John Ross. You know all the sim motion rides out there on the speedway. Those are drivers that you know. Cliff Adams, I do believe, runs in your truck series with SSR. Who else here? You know, there's a few other guys, man, that you know them. You know them out there on the racetrack. But, you know, I appreciate you cheering me on, though, brother. I appreciate that. We get ready to go back to green flag racing. The 95 of Mike Peters is our race leader. He chooses the outside lane here, so looking for a shove from the 68 of Chris Campbell. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. I'm going to quickly use that bathroom, and then we will go to the end of this race clean and green out there on the speedway. But we'll crank it up here for this restart on the evening. So hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Back up right there, but no caution flag. Let's see if we can play this back and see what happens here real quick as we are still clean and green. Take a look here at the number 88 ride, having himself a day at the Speedway. Clay Cantrell, he's been up there at the front of the field. He's been battling hard here. Unfortunately, kind of gets shoved out of line. Then contact between him and Dale Miller. Miller kind of gets a little squirrely here as the 88 goes down to the middle. The 88 doesn't go with him here. And this is going to get very interesting as a little contact off of Dale Miller's ride. Watch this machine. He's going to get loose right here. He's going to kind of come up the track, then back down the speedway into that right rear quarter panel of the 88 machine. They're both going to get up and into the outside fence. And look at the line out there on the outside, just nowhere to go. Austin Call in there. The 68 rider Campbell in there. Nowhere for these drivers to go. Actually, that is the 04 ride of Cliff Adams Collective. You do see the number 7 as well, kind of getting a little piece of that one, getting slowed down here as well. All these drivers losing momentum down the back straightaway. A lot of these guys with some damage on their rides as well. Justin Bentley, one of those cats that gets kind of into this one. The 40 ride of Greer also in there as well. And unfortunately for these drivers, no caution on the speedway. So we keep it clean and green. Everyone was able to keep their car pointed in the right direction. Nobody went around. So we stay green flag racing. As the field a little bit smaller once again at the front of the field, but the racing action is just starting to heat up for all of these drivers. As the laps get closer and closer to the finish line, things are starting to heat up for each and every one of these competitors. As Nelson Johns, Nelson coming in, showing the love with the like on the stream. How are you, Nelson? Nelson coming in, dropping that thumbs up, says they getting brave. He says, yes, Sirski. Yes, Sirski, they are getting brave and braver out here on the speedway. Some may call it brave, some may call it stupid. We may see some stupid moves. We may see some very brave moves out there on the speedway to throw your car into a situation that, may take yourself out of a race is always a very brave move out there. And sometimes you see some dumb moves out there as well, but so far it's just been good hard racing, good hard battling, and now our front of the field broken up here once again, and this is looking like it may be a top 13 breakaway here. Is that's what this battle is here. Top 13 to 39 right at the back of this pack right here. So our top 13 kind of all right there together. Throw a blanket over top of them. 5 seconds back, you see the 48 right of Michael Mo Quinn and the 51 of Max Campbell. A little farther back behind them, you see this number 9 of Bradley King, Justin Bentley, 94 of Fred Anderson. A little farther back here as well with Justin Lewis, Austin Call, the 04 right of Cliff Adams, Clay Cantrell. Farther back here as well as you see all these different little packs as drivers trying to get lined back up together, trying to find that speed, that momentum that they need to try to continue to roll some good lap times and not go a lap down or not lose that draft out there on the racetrack. But it's a 13-car breakaway here at the front of the field. Is down across the line. Derek Cat will lead that lap as Derek Cat, the Catman, out in front, but he leaves the bottom lane open. There goes Braxton DeWeese in the 54. Yusuf Ghali up on the high side will leave the 21 of Cat all by his lonesome down the middle here till he hits this 95 right of Mike Peters. Now going to try to push him, try to work the hints back bumpers, see some of these other drivers that were collected there on the back straightaway with some pretty good damage. Unfortunately, going a lap down here, one of those drivers, the 24 ride of Patterson. Patterson, unfortunately, pretty heavy right rear damage on this 24 right. Not going to be able to catch that little bit of draft here from that lead pack. That right front, right rear damage, too much here for the 24 ride. He's going to go a lap down and keep on sliding. The 8 ride of Dale Miller already a lap down here himself. He's at risk of potentially going another lap down here on the speedway as Miller down on the apron. He's got that right front damage. He's just going to let this lead pack kind of roll around him here. He's going to stay down and out of the way. A good, better remove right there, making sure the lead pack can kind of get through there without any issues. As 3 wide starting to build here anyways at the front of the field. Only 13 cars, but 3 wide fun here at Talladega Super Speedway. As the laps are counting down here in this one, we get closer and closer to our checkered flag. As this time by the start-finish line, we will see 6 more laps of racing action. Let us know in the chat right now if the driver you're cheering for is inside this lead pack. If they are part of this top 13 right now on the speedway, they may have an opportunity at putting themselves into victory lane. If they're outside this top 13 and we do not see a caution flag, everyone else back there will unfortunately not catch up to this lead pack. We now see Michael McQueen and these drivers. They're back now about 8 seconds, and that gap is continuing to build as they are every lap at least a second or better slower than our race leaders. As Yusuf Ghali leading the way. He won a couple weeks ago, but things are getting very tight. Oh, baby, I don't know how they didn't wreck right there at a quarter number 4. It's down through the tri-oval, the 28 of Brugg all over the back bumper of Zach Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger will lead this lap here at Talladega Super Speedway as we see 5 more laps of racing action here this evening. 5 more laps. Can Roethlisberger hold them off and pick up the checkered flag? But we may see this lead change about 5, 6, 10, 15 more times before we see that checkered flag. And if we see that caution flag fly, we're going to bring the rest of the field all back together, and we will be probably heading to NASCAR overtime here in Talladega Super Speedway. Roethlisberger, Brugg, Braxton DeWeese, John Ross, Brian Huntley Jr. our top 5 here on the speedway. The 55 ride of Benjamin Cusson. They're in position number 6. Andrew Pelesci, they're in position number 7. Yusuf Ghali now back to 8th is Mike Peters, Chris Campbell, the 2 of Todd Merkel, the 39 of Josh Small, and the 21 of Derek Cat, our top 13 here on the speedway as they kind of get a little separated here and a little bit more single file around the speedway. That's exactly what Braxton DeWeese and all these drivers at the front of the field want to see, especially our race leader, Zach Roethlisberger. And sometimes it's best to be out in front, especially on that final lap, but kind of a sit and duck here. If you're out in front on that final lap, the drivers back behind you can try to mount a challenge. You can try to throw some blocks, keep yourself in front of them, hope to have a couple pushing partners hang there with you and keep you at the front of the field. But we're going to continue to see these guys kind of move around, jostle around, and he may get left high and dry late in this race, especially if we're on that final lap and down through that tri-oval. You may see drivers make that move right there, leave that high lane, jump down low, try to use the momentum that they built up to try to slingshot their way to the front of the field. It's a little bit of Ricky Bobby shake and bake at the front of the field. 4 cars down low, 5 cars up on the high side as another pack kind of slips away from that lead field. The 68 of Chris Campbell, the 2 of Todd Merkel, Josh Small and Derek Cat all sliding back here. Now back about a second from our race leaders is out in front. Braxton DeWeese leads the way. DeWeese down through the tri-oval here at Talladega Super Speedway. He will see the twin sticks in 2 more laps here at Talladega. Can Braxton DeWeese find his way into the Super Speedway victory lane, or will one of these other drivers jump up and knock him out of this victory here this evening? DeWeese has been up inside the top 5 for most of this day. Got the rest of that first wreck. Went down pit side, quickly got some repairs, got that little bit of damage fixed up, and it didn't take him long to go from the back of the pack back to the front of the field. But here you go. He gets left high and dry down the back straightaway and into quarter number 3. The 08 ride going to slide all the way back here with that 55 ride of Benjamin Cusson, as maybe a couple of drivers will slide down in front of him. Is down through the tri-oval and back to the start-finish line. It's Yusuf Ghali who will see that white flag fly one more time around here for the MNT Cup Series. Mike Peters will make that move down into quarter number 1, the 44 up on the high side. Ghali's going to come down the block, of another block up to the high side. These two duking it out at the front of the field, and look out as here comes John Ross. Here comes that 6th line of Mr. Roethlisberger trying to get to the front of the field. More jostling down into corner number 3, almost 3 wide contact there. Here comes John Ross, the Sim Motion 44 at the front of the field, door to door, but his pushing partners are battling back there behind him. No love, no help, down low. Here comes Braxton Deweese, another big run down through the tri-oval. Yusuf Ghali gets split 3 wide down through the tri-oval. A drag race back to the start-finish line. It's Braxton Deweese. Deweese will find his way into victory lane. The Interstate Ford number 08 ride of Braxton Deweese will pick up the checkered flag here at Talladega Super Speedway. Peters will come home in second, and Roethlisberger will come home in position number 3. Yusuf Ghali, Johnny Brugg are top 5 here on the Speedway, but the BDR fans in the house, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get some congratulations. Let's see some checkered flags fly in the comment section right now as Braxton Deweese will find his way in to victory lane here this evening. Let's take a look back at it here as Deweese gets a big run out at corner number 4. We counted him down and out on that last lap as he got left high and dry down low, but a lot of 3 wide, a lot of shuffling around here, and he finds himself up on that outside lane. Drivers drop back down low, and all of a sudden he's getting a shove from Zach Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger gives him a good shove out at corner number 4. He takes all that momentum right down the racetrack as the 54 and the 95 kind of split up here ever so slightly. You'll see Deweese kind of go up, side draft him a little bit, but then here is where the 95 leaves that 54 ride high and dry as well. Jumps up to the extreme high side there, 3 wide, down through the tri-oval, but all that momentum, all that speed for Braxton Deweese and the 6 ride. Watch Roethlisberger down low, got a great run here as well as he's going to help push that 08 down across the line, but he's going to slide up in front of the 54, and it's a drag race back to that start-finish line, and right there you will get a good look at it as that is the difference maker here on the Speedway. Braxton Deweese, by a car, picks up the checkered flag over the 95 ride. Mike Peters. Peters there in second. Braxton Deweese, though, out in front, picking up the win here in this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for the 08 ride as he's actually going to burn down the house here. Let's get a little bit of a backup camera on this one. Let's see him burn down the house here as he's absolutely psyched, picking up this win. Let's watch him burn down Talladega Super Speedway here. Burn these tires off that Interstate Ford Mustang here this evening, Braxton, as he finds himself away into the MNT Cup Series victory lane here this evening. Man, what a run. What a race all these drivers put on for us, man. That was an absolutely amazing show, absolutely amazing race. Drop the green flag all the way down to our checkered flag, man. These guys put on it absolutely amazing ride for us all evening long. And to finish it off like that in style, green flag run, a lot of shuffling around, but a lot of good, hard, clean racing. And Deweese finds himself in victory lane. As Chris Deweese says, woohoo! That is some damn great driving, baby. Yes, Sirski, some great driving right there by Braxton. Some great driving by all these drivers. As Dwight Hibbs says, good racing tonight. Yes, Sirski, some great racing here this evening, man. These guys put on a heck of a show, a heck of a race for us, man. It would have been a little bit more interesting if we didn't see that contact down the back straightaway and saw that little bit of a 13-car breakaway here on the later half of this run. But nonetheless, these guys still put on a wonderful show right down to that finish line here this evening. And we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up into the broadcast booth here for some post-race interviews. I'm sure we're going to pull in a very excited 08 ride of Braxton Deweese. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys enjoyed that racing action, make sure you hit the like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, and let's see some more congratulations here for Mr. Deweese in this one, man, as that was a hell of a run and a hell of a race here this evening for that 08 8 riders. We'll pull him up into the broadcast booth. As Timmy Rich, Timmy coming in, showing the love over there on Twitch, dropping that follow on the stream. I appreciate that, Timmy, coming in, becoming a brand new member, a brand new follower over on the Twitch channel. Welcome to the Peacemaker family here in this one. We'll get ready to pull this race winner up and into the booth. Hey, Braxton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
Yes, I do.
Braxton, man, what a run, what a race, man. Take us back through this one. We saw you out in front early in this race, looking very good, pushing strong out there on the speedway, and then you got a little bit of contact there as drivers to your outside get some contact. They come down the speedway, kind of door slams you there, pushes you down through the grass. You're able to do a great job keeping that car pointed in the right direction. You come down pit side, though, a couple times, get that car fixed up, make sure there's nothing wrong with it. All of a sudden, you got to restart again, almost back at about that 30th position, and it didn't take you long to find your way back up towards the front of the field, and that's where you stayed the rest of this race, as you were just able to keep yourself up inside the top 5, top 3 pretty much throughout this entire race, other than that little bit of a blemish there after that first caution flag. And then late in this one, you know, a couple big moves, a couple big runs, and we see you get left high and dry down on the bottom side of the racetrack before we hit that white flag. We were starting to think maybe we were going to get, you know, they were going to go single file till maybe the front straightaway, and it would have kind of blocked you or kept you back there. But all that racing on the final lap opened up the door for you to find a couple more dancing partners, a couple big runs up on that outside lane, and a great shove there out of corner number 4 from the 6th rider, Luis. You take all that momentum, all that speed, and it works yourself into victory lane.
Yeah, it was a pretty eventful and fun race. I mean, we had a lot of good pushing, shoving, you know, making moves and stuff. I was, you know, it was very enjoyable. In general, I felt like if I didn't win it, I was still going to be happy with, you know, how the race was. You know, I haven't raced with these guys at a super speedway yet, so you know, I felt like it went pretty well. A lot of us were able to push pretty good. And I was able to make the lanes work there. You know, the 97 was pushing pretty good, and then I was able to push Mike pretty good there, and we were able to be 1, 2, 3 for a little bit and just, you know, cruise on the bottom and make some time. And you know, that was pretty cool to be able to do that. And just to be able to, I was worried about fuel if we were going to have to do that, but caution came out with like 21 laps to go, something around there. And at that point, the fuel was out of the picture. We had like a 19-lap shootout to the end. So, you know, I stream on YouTube, so I was telling them, you know, you got to stay up here. If we get past 5th, I want to, you know, kind of get alert and try to get up there as, you know, as quick as we can, just in case there's a caution. But just in general, you know, I felt like being up front was the best place to be. And, you know, we were on that, it was 2 to go, and they had that big run on the outside. I thought we were done for, but went into 1 on the last lap, and I said, you know, we still got this. They all started moving around a bunch. I was like, you know, that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. We'll be able to get a run, try to make some moves. We went to the outside. I figured that the outside was going to carry the momentum just because of the couple guys that were up there. And it did. Like you said, we were able to get that big push by Zach, and we were able to shoot that gap right there through the middle. Kind of was like shades of Dale Jr. in the Daytona 500 of 2010. That was like one of the first things that popped in my mind right when I went through the hole. That was hilarious. I remember watching that as a kid. That's like a very vivid moment. But to be able to go through there, and I was like, oh my God, I just had to side draft a little bit. I saw that I believe it was the guy behind Yosef made a move or something, made it 3 wide. I wanted to make sure it didn't get side drafted, and we were able to come home with it. I was, you know, pretty stoked. Honestly, surprised we were able to come home with it. Usually I'm kind of getting wrecked, but all in all, we were able to, you know, do what we were supposed to do and come home with the win.
Absolutely. Coming home with a great win and a great drive here on the evening. It's down across the line by probably one of the bigger margins that we normally see here at Talladega, as you're about a full car in front of the 95 rider Mike Peters. As Peters was there trying to make it 3 wide. We saw that 6 ride trying to use his momentum to jump in there and, you know, 3 wide for second, but they just couldn't get to you after that big run out of corner number 4, and the great moves down through the tri-oval to put yourself up here and into victory lane. Braxton, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great performance here this evening?
Definitely a huge shout out to Interstate Ford on the car. We've had some some pretty good success with them, getting some race wins. Hopefully we can in some past leagues. Hopefully we can keep that up. I was happy to be able to get him a win in the MNT Cup Series. So hopefully that will definitely help us out in points, and we definitely need to keep it up. Try to get as many points as we can with the season being so short and us missing the first race, and not having the best first two races that we did. So big shout out to Interstate Ford as well as Allen's Arts Images, Bennett's Publical, Jane's on Main, Dewey's Renovations, Booth 34 Diecast, and Rabbit Photography, Blaze Designs, as well as Evan Pineda Designs. This is a Blaze Designs car, so big shout out to him. And shout out to Bullet Dog Coffee Company. You can use Brax5 for 10% off over there. And appreciate everybody that tuned in to the broadcast, to my live stream, and looking forward to going back and watching them. It's going to be a good one.
Absolutely, man. It was a great run and a great race. Congratulations on picking up the win and your first win here with the MNT Cup Series here this evening at Talladega Super Speedway, man. As that was a great run and a great show all evening long for that Interstate Ford machine, putting on a lot of great moves, a lot of great pushing out there. Being able to see you pick up that checkered flag, a well-earned one here this evening, brother. Congratulations. And we can't wait to see you back up here in the broadcast booth. Maybe more and more trips up here into victory lane throughout your MNT Cup Series career.
Most definitely. We'll try. I appreciate it, man. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Absolutely. You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, the 08 of Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese will find that victory lane here at Talladega Super Speedway. A great run and a great battle here all night long, and he was able to get it done. As Chris DeWeese says, awesome race to everyone. Wow, what a great race, man. That was a great race, a fantastic race here this evening by all these drivers, all these competitors, man. They did not back down. They did not give up out there on the speedway, man. Each and every one of them, right down to the very bitter end and across that start-finish line, man. They did not want to give an inch out there on the speedway. There was a little bit of give and take at the start, but there at the end, it was all take, no give out there on the speedway, and the 08 was able to jump up and take this win away from the rest of the field here this evening. Huge congratulations again there to Braxton. As we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher, our second place driver here in this one, Mike Peters. Peters coming home in that second spot, man. A great run and a great drive here by the 95 ride. We'll get him up into the broadcast booth next. Hey, Mike, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Hey, Aaron, it's Mike down here on my iRacing rig. I got a copy.
Perfect. Mike, brother, a great run, a great race here for you in this one, man. Take us back through those closing laps. What was going through your mind? What was the game plan as you were trying to jump up here and get the win at Talladega Super Speedway, and you come up just a few feet shy of getting it done here in this one?
Well, it's Talladega, so there's never really a game plan other than survive. That's pretty much the main thing. But yeah, I was just working with some of my friends, and my logic is if one of us can be up front and win, cool. I was actually trying to help out Yusuf Ghali in the Vans car, and we got a little crossed up there, and I realized I wasn't going to be able to push him all the way through. So I was like, well, if he's not going to make it, I'll give it a good old college try here. And just like college, dropped out, came out just a pinch short. But it was fun though. Anytime I make it to the end of a stricter plate race, I'm pretty stoked on that. So, and then I get to do a super fun interview. So woohoo. How exciting.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Well, hey, you know what? Anytime you can load up your ride and not have any damage, not have that car tore up in a million pieces, like we saw some of the competitors here this evening, means that it was a great day at the speedways. You were able to avoid a lot of the contact, a lot of the chaos that happened out there on the racetrack back there behind you. As we saw you up here battling at the front of the field for a lot of laps. We saw a lot of different shuffling around here, really, how do you handle that? How do you handle it out there on the speedway? Just trying to find different dancing partners, different people to help work with you out there on the racetrack, especially late in this race. When a lot of your teammates, a lot of your friends are, maybe outside that top 13 group that we saw kind of break away there throughout that last run. How do you kind of, pick and choose what you're going to do out there on the speedway?
Well, one thing that really helps is this is our second season of the MNT Cup Series, and a lot of the guys that put this together, there's about 7 of us. You know, one big thing was we just wanted some good, clean, hard racing. And what's neat is it's attracted a lot of those people. So there's probably 10 or so guys from a couple other leagues that I've always really, truly enjoyed racing with, but the races with them were not really as good as they could be because there was always some kind of extra garbage in the race that just kind of took away from their ability to race and do their thing. So that was really fun. So we're starting to develop a good nucleus of drivers in here where, you know, a good 2/3 of the field, you really know what you can work with and what you can't. And I'm always a little hesitant just to push people real hard because I don't know if they can hold on to it. And then I noticed that when I connected with Braxton, I was like, oh, he's gonna push the hell out of me, but that's fine. I mean, I'm sitting there, you know, moving the wheel 15, 20 degrees around the corner, just trying to keep it pointed straight. But I had no problem with that. He was doing a great job pushing, so that worked really well. And again, I know him from a past league, and he'll always run you super hard, but be pretty clean. So it was really cool to see him here. Hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he brings some friends like him, which is often what happens here at MNT. But you know, it was just a good fun race of just knowing who you're around and just trying to, you know, line up with the cars that complement what you're trying to do and work with. And then we also had a real good bit there too before the cautions kind of broke it up a little bit, where you know, we had a good deal with our MNT guys, with Clay and Zach and Justin and everybody and Fred and Yusuf, and we were running that really well. But it's just once we got kind of broken up, you know, just found some guys that you could work well with, and it kind of shook out really well in the end. But like I said, the main strategy is just survive, try not to take any big risks, and just make it to the end. I kind of hope the guy that I spot for is watching this, so I can hammer him and harp on him on see what happens when you don't take dumb risks. But you know, but yeah, I mean, that's just the main thing. Just kind of know who you're working with. And again, this league really promotes and cultivates that, to where it's like we have a lot of the same drivers that show up, and you really know what you're going to get when you come out.
Absolutely. Good, hard, respectful racing throughout this race and throughout pretty much every race we have here on the MNT Cup Series, and that's just the aura that these drivers continue to spew out here each and every single one of these races, man. It's just nothing but good shows, good hard racing. There's a couple caution flags, a little bit of contact here and there, but that's going to happen with any type of racing and the competitiveness out there on the speedway. And man, oh man, oh man, the race and the finish to this one, I thought for a few times we were going to see that late race caution flags, man. We saw a few drivers there in, you know, at the front of the field get very, very loose, get very sideways, able to collect their car, keep them pointing in the right direction, and keep on battling. And, man, we thought for certain we were going to see some more fireworks there on that final lap, but some good moves, some good hard racing, and a little bit of 3 wide there for second place. But you were able to come out on top and beat your teammate Yusuf and that 6th ride of Zach Roethlisberger back down across the line for a second place run here with Braxton just engine out in front of you guys there for the trial.
I got to make fun of Zach too. He was complaining. He was like, man, I never have to hang out in the broadcast booth. Normally I win and I don't have to wait. So I got to give him some crap for that, for the people watching too. So.
Perfect. Well, Mike, man, a great run and a great drive here this evening from you. Who would you like to thank for such a great performance and great drive here tonight?
Yeah, you know, first and foremost, my wife for letting me come up here and play video games on a Friday night, even though she's totally probably went to sleep 2 hours ago because that's how she rolls. But no, you know, all the guys that make MNT what it is, you know, all the guys that put the league together. There's 8 or 9 of them. Amir does race control, and it's kind of a nice hands-off deal where he just does what needs to be done and kind of lets the boys be boys, and that's pretty awesome. You know, you doing the broadcast, you do a great job. I go home and watch these, and they're actually pretty fun to watch, and I can show my friends, and they actually find good entertainment. My handful of friends that tuned in, even though they said iRacing is super lame and they're not watching. But no, thanks all the guys that come out here. Like I said, I know Wes Donaldson, all the couple Sim 500 guys come out here. Todd Merkel and Justin Lewis and Austin Call and, you know, their little 1320 crew, they'll come out here. And then all the rest of the guys that I've got to meet through MNT. You know, we always have good car count and it's just fun. Although I am kind of sad I didn't get a angry Justin rant like we normally do in the MNT channel. But no, thanks everybody that makes these what they are. And then like my dad watches a lot of these, so hopefully he's watching. And all my friends from Houston Motorsports Park, if anybody watching is in the Houston metro area, 20 minutes from downtown, there is a NASCAR style track. You can come out there. Yusuf Ghali actually has done spectator drags. A couple of the guys in here, Austin Call races a Legends car there. And then, you know, quite a few of us are involved. Like I spot for a legacy team. We're actually winning the championship. It's a number 54 tight email. But yeah, just thanks for everybody that makes this happen, and go support automotive stuff and motorsports, whether it's digital or real life, and just go have fun.
Absolutely, brother. Racing is racing. It's all a lot of fun, and the more people we can get, tuning into races or into iRacing to race with all these leagues, or the more people we can get in the grandstands or back into the pits or out there onto the racetrack themselves, man, it is great for racing. And definitely being a great ambassador yourself here of motorsports, man, is awesome to see you up here in the broadcast booth. And we can't wait to see you back out on the racetrack next Friday, and hopefully, maybe one spot better, maybe a car length more, and up in victory lane yourself.
We'll see. I'm pretty outclassed in this league, but we'll see how it goes. But anyway, thanks, man, and thanks everybody for tuning in.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, you too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Mike Peters. Peters coming home there in position number 2. A great run and a great drive there for the 95 ride here this evening. As we'll get ready to pull in our third place finisher, Zach Roethlisberger, coming home there in position number 3. We'll get ready to pull Zach up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Zach, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Gotcha, Aaron.
Zach, man, another good run, another great finish here for the 6th ride as you pull yourself up here into the podium, man. Take us back through this one and what's kind of going through your mind right now after that bit of a wild finish, man. A lot of crazy moves, a lot of bit of, jumping lanes here and there, and all of a sudden you get that good run down the front straightaway, and you take them 3 wide, trying to maybe race back to that number 08 ride, the race for the lead. Unfortunately, it was more of a 3 wide photo finish for second place, and you come home there in that 3rd spot, unfortunately, here this evening. But you got to be pretty happy with the outcome.
Yeah, I think one of the cardinal rules I've always had with plate racing is on the last lap, you always got to be going forward. So, with these cars, it's a little bit, you can get away with, not going forward totally in the last lap. You can, have a run maybe down the back straightaway just by how crazy the runs get. But yeah, I think we were leading there with, 2 or 3 to go and got shuffled to the back, and we had to kind of work our way back there and got up to 4th or 5th, and Braxton made a move to the inside, and I had momentum, and like I said, the cardinal rule is to always go forward with every run you have, and the move was to go with him, and ultimately I helped push him to the lead and got myself a better finish out of it as well. So that was kind of the mindset, I guess, going into it.
Absolutely. Getting those little bit of shoves, so a couple different good drives there late in this race. Coming down out of corner number 4 and down that front straightaway, did you think there maybe you had a chance, maybe an opportunity to pick up the win here this evening? You had Yusuf Ghali back there, or right in front of you, and you had the 95 ride of Mike Peters. You decided not to go with them, but man, there was another driver you were working with, Johnny Brugg, right there on your back bumper. Did you think maybe Brugg would help maybe push you down to the start-finish line and maybe push you into victory lane?
Yeah, Johnny did a good job of pushing me all day. And I think he was trying to go with me there. He just had it. He had said something that he, for a reason he couldn't go. But yeah, at the last lap, through the trial at Talladega, you're trying to win the race. I took the run that I had and went to the bottom. And what happened was I took the run to the bottom thinking maybe Johnny would go with me and then maybe I could cut the tri-oval. And then Braxton went down to the bottom. And at that point, I can't go around Braxton and keep my momentum. So I just ended up hitting him. And, that's what had our momentum going forward there. So, yeah. Yusuf ran a great race. Mike ran a good race. It was fun battling with those guys there at the end.
Absolutely. A lot of great racing, a lot of great battles here on the Speedway, and you pull yourself up here about a car length shy of victory lane this evening. But Zach, who'd you like to thank for a great run and a great show, here in this one?
Yeah, I just want to thank the admin team for everybody that puts on the race. We had 37 tonight. I thought we had a pretty good show. Not too many cautions at Talladega. It can usually be a mixed bag, but everybody that kind of hates on plate race and super speedway racing. Now there's not plates on these cars anymore. Drafting racing, we'll call it that. You can put on a pretty good show, and it's a lot of fun if you've got guys to do it with. And we had everybody out there tonight was doing a great job. So thank you to all the drivers. Thank you to the admin team, Clay Cantrell, Justin Bentley, Derek Catt, Mike Peters, Fred Anderson, everybody that helps put the league on, manages the Discord, and gives us a platform here to race. Thank you for doing the broadcast and showing us some love. Man, you do a great job, and it's been fun having you here. We're approaching now halfway of season 2, so it's been great to have you on board, man. And thank you to AMR for doing the broadcast or the race control, excuse me, as well. He's always on point with controlling, making sure everything's tight. So thank you to him.
Absolutely, man. Amir and all you guys, all the admins, continue to put on great shows, man. It's always my pleasure to be up here in the broadcast booth and being able to call these races, man. It's always a lot of fun being able to pull you up here into the broadcast booth. Zach, we look forward to seeing you back out there onto the racetrack next Friday, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth, maybe a couple spots better next week and up in Victory Lane yourself.
Hope so, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Zach Roethlisberger. And Zach coming home there in position number 3. A great run and a great drive there for that 6 machine. Unfortunately, though, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the racing action has come to an end here this evening. All the fun, all the battles out there on the speedway after that checkered flag. After the crowd has left the building here, unfortunately, the evening has come to a close, and that means we are going to get ready to end the live stream, but I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, man. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Any of the new followers, any of the new subscribers, welcome to the Peacemaker family, welcome to that Peacemaker crew, and if you haven't already, it's not too late. And let's out a ton here. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream, hit that share, hit that follow, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and make sure you turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. Unfortunately, that will do it for us here tonight, and we will see you guys all back here tomorrow evening for some more racing, as tomorrow night, the Premium Stock Car Racing League, the Xfinity Series rides, I do believe they are heading to potentially Talladega as well tomorrow evening, so nonetheless, wherever we go, they put on a great show for us, man. They put on a lot of great fun as well. So tomorrow night, Saturday evening, right around 9:30 Eastern Time, we will be back live with those drivers, and maybe tomorrow afternoon, we may hop on, do something as well. We may hop in and do a couple random broadcasts, or maybe jump in and play some Call of Duty or something. Who knows what we'll get up to tomorrow afternoon, but we're going to try to get into something, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys don't want to miss any of the action here on Peacemaker Gaming, man. Become part of the Peacemaker family. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out for now, baby. Peace out for now, ladies and gentlemen.
In the digital world he shines bright, full send all day and all night, conquering realms with all his might. Peacemaker's here to make it right. Through the controller's battles begun, every click, every move he's won, streaming wisdom under the sun. Victory's anthem just has begun. Peacemaker gaming all day, send it full dose sway. In the virtual lands we play, leading the charge in our own way. Pixels and wires, his domain, glory found in every campaign, shelter from reality's strain. With Peacemaker there's no pain. Battles fought in every zone, from his cherries never alone. Full send on the audio tone, Peacemaker's name is known. Eyes on screens, dreams he weave, in his world you can't believe. Through the levels never leave, the magic of gaming we perceive. Peacemaker, gaming all day. Send it full, don't sway. In the virtual lands we play, leading the charge in our own way. Pixels and wires is domain, glory found in every camber main. Shelter from reality strain, with Peacemaker there's no pain. Stands fought in every zone, from his chair he's never alone. Full send on the audio tone, Peacemaker's name is known. Eyes on screen, strings he weaves, in his world you can believe. Through the levels never leave, the magic of gaming we perceive. Fought in every zone, from his chair he's never alone. Full send on the audio tone, Peacemaker's name is known.